Well, according to two people on the internet, you phoned in your review of the MoFi SourcePoint 888s.
Did I?
How dare you not go over the top with your experience with a product, the thing that everyone has given you since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
You know,
So I go too hard.
he likes everything. He likes everything. Everything is the best. Well, not this time, Robinson. Not this time. You were too measured in your review. I would say you bordered on being objective, and we will not tolerate that here. Okay? Understood?
Understood.
Do you promise to do better?
I promise. I promise to do better. I mean, for the record, I thought it was a pretty good review. I mean, it's a great speaker. I was unawares that, I guess reading between the proverbial lines, I missed the mark on that one. I really enjoyed the review. I enjoyed my time with the speakers.
I personally thought it was one of your better reviews. The delivery, in my opinion, was so good and natural.
Yeah, I mean,
I was shocked that the couple of people that spoke out, and then the 10 people who liked their comment
you can't win it. You
had
can't win them
anything
all.
to say. I'm just like, my gosh, like the Nike commercial, you can't win, so just win is going to be my new mantra.
Yeah, put that on a shirt.
Heck yeah, I'm sure they have.
Oh yeah, of course, it's Nike.
Yeah, yeah. Trademark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, getting into the MoFi review. Guys, everyone, ladies, we are on Unplugged 35.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically we had a ton of, but what about questions,
Okay.
So basically, how does the MoFi 888 compare to every other speaker that's ever been made?
Okay, so it's going to be a big comparisons episode.
Yeah. So we're going to start with Mark Sherman, 630.
Okay.
Apparently, the 888 is on their short list. Could you explain your comment that the 888 was more neutral than the SVS Titans, but the Titans were more detailed from the bass through the treble, which gives them better intelligibility? I'm not an audiophile, but I try to pay attention. Usually, when reviewers say, quote, neutral, they imply detail versus warm and less detail.
So in direct comparison, and we did literally place the two speakers side by side. I listened to them in mono and in stereo. Sometimes I listen in mono so that I'm not distracted by things like soundstage and all of that, and I'm just listening to tonality. And subjectively and objectively through measurements, the SVS Titans have a little bit more bass rise or extension, so that's going to make them just a little bit more punchy. However, for whatever reason, despite having a slightly higher rise than, say, the 888s, the way that the bass is delivered through the Titans actually sounds little less full, or I don't want to use the word bloated, but the 888s have a much more kind of older school bass where it's more of a bigger, fuller push, whereas I find the Titans, despite measuring with higher bass energy, were a lot more quick, a little bit snappier, textural, less boomy, if you will.
I would totally agree with you on that.
And so this is one area where the measurements would say, oh my God, there's more bass bloat with the SVSs, but in reality, even directly head to head, the 888s do sound like the fuller, slower, boomier speaker, at least in our room and in our direct A/B testing. Now, as far as the treble, where the Titans start to sound a little bit more articulate, they do not roll off quite in the same way that the 888s do. And as a result, some people may walk away from their experience, depending on how the Titans are set up, believing the Titans to be a more bright or forward speaker. And I could understand if you have that opinion, if you have a more reflective room, if you have the Titans way on axis, meaning pointed directly at your listening position, you will see and hear the treble kind of actually rise as it reaches that more brilliant part of the spectrum, where it's not so much where a lot of information lies, but where a lot of the sensation of air and decay on metallic instruments like cymbals are going to live. As a result, that gives those instruments a lot of contrast and a lot more kind of presence. Whereas with the 888, because it rolls off the way that it does, those edges of those metallic instruments can sound a little bit softer in comparison. Do I think you're going to run into issues where you find the 888s fatiguing because of this? Absolutely not. Whereas the Titans, again, depending on how you have them set up, maybe for some people can kind of tiptoe into that realm. Now, for me, I don't have that issue. I also don't point my Titans directly at me. I do toe them in just a little bit, but not directly on axis. And that gives me a treble response that is more in line with the 888s, but still gives me that added extension that the Titans have. And as a result, yes, the focus, the sensation of clarity and intelligibility through the Titans is a little bit better. And their ability to hold precise imaging within the same exact room setup electronics in the soundstage is undeniable. It's better. At least in our room, it was better. And it's something I think both you and I really, really clued in on when we A-B'd between the two. You're like, oh, okay, yeah. And again, not taking anything away from the 888s. This is the fun part of what we're able to do when you're nitpicking two phenomenal speakers. It really is going to come down to what now is your personal taste. Because while the Titans are $1,000 cheaper at $4,000 a pair versus $5,000 a pair, I do think that they're comparable and would be cross-shopped.
Michael Stevens has a question, not necessarily a comparison question. The 888's woofers use an accordion surround, unlike most other manufacturers.
Okay.
Any benefits to this, or is it just a design choice? Personally, I don't think they're as attractive as other surrounds. It gives me an old school vibe.
I'm not going to venture to guess. I'm sure the designer Andrew Jones did his research, looked into it, weighed the pros and cons of a million different, I'm exaggerating, but a million different driver designs, makeups, materials. And this is just what he wanted to use. Is there going to be a notable immediate benefit one over the other? I don't know. I don't believe there is.
Well, we can't forget about one of the goats here, and Bruce Molinar is bringing that speaker up. They say, thanks for the review. 2 points. Number one, for the price, I think MoFi should have spent the $30 for trim rings to cover those ugly screws. Number two, for $5,000, I struggle a little when I compare these with my POLK R700s I bought goat after your review.
Yeah.
For $2,000, the R700s appear more neutral. They're three-way speakers, and with a $1,000 KLIPSCH RP sub can sound as full range as the 888s with $2,000 left over to buy a nice amp or two Emotiva monoblocks with the spare change. So I wonder, are these really worth $5,000? And can they really best speakers less than 10K?
Can they best speakers less than 10K? That's purely subjective, obviously. So some people are going to say they can. Other people are going to say that they can't. I have not heard every $10,000 speaker, and just like I haven't heard every $5,000 speaker. So is there going to be a $5,000 888 upset of a $10,000 product? Someone, somewhere, yes, it will. But there'll be equal number of people that are like, that's crazy. No, it doesn't. As for how does it compare to the POLK R700, I do want to correct you real quick. Both the R700 and the 888 are three-way speakers. You said the R700 was a three-way, implying that the 888 is not, and it is. It doesn't necessarily look like one because the woofers and the mid-range drivers are basically all around the same size, and then the tweeter sits inside the mid-range, but it is a true three-way speaker. But you are correct. Can you do or best the 888 using R700s, a subwoofer, and amplification for about the same money or less? 100% you are right. So yeah, I think you have a really, really nice system if you have R700s with a sub and, amp, but I think you bring up a very, very good and valid point.
Actually, Bruce, it's at the end of their comment, they said they're staying with their Polks and Marantz Model 50.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I mean, and I would too. If I already had it, especially if I already had it and I've been enjoying it this whole time, it's the one I came to the dance with, I would too.
Okay, moving on to the Miro Labs comment.
Okay.
Miro Labs says, this is likely my next speaker as soon as I sell off a pair of my tannoys. I've been waiting for just the right Andrew Jones design that speaks to me, and I think this one is it.
Okay.
But of course, I can't make a move till I know exactly what KRISTI thinks. Well, Miro Lab, I hope that what I'm about to say doesn't turn your whole world upside down, because I would get the SourcePoint 8s over the 888s. And before everyone freaks out, I'm not saying that I don't like the towers. I liked them, but I loved the 8s.
Yep.
And like Andrew mentioned a little bit earlier, the towers bass wasn't, for me, this is for me, my personal preference, wasn't as quick as I tend to prefer. So if I were shopping the SourcePoint line, I would go with a smaller bookshelf and then add a subwoofer over the towers. Again, the bass, in my opinion, of the 8s will be easier to control and blend, and I think you'll achieve a better bass performance through a subwoofer while still getting all of the best parts of the 888, that are in the SourcePoint 8, the smallest bookshelf. That's what I would do.
I think I'm right there with you. I do. I mean, I love the 888 as far as just of all the three speakers in the SourcePoint line, the 888, all things considered, is my favorite because it gives you everything that you technically need without necessarily having to rely on ancillary stuff. But if ancillary stuff is on the table and we're just building a system, I like where your head's at. I do.
And I would choose that combination, again, the SourcePoint 8 plus a capable subwoofer like, I don't know, the SB17 is great, but it's a little too big for my taste. So maybe the SVS Micro 3000 or the KEF KC92 sub I would probably pair with the SourcePoint 8s. And again, but I would get that combination over even the R700. I really like the intelligibility of the SourcePoint 8 or the SourcePoint line in general is really good. I think it's even better with the bookshelves, again, because it's the bookshelf doesn't have the amount of bass that the 888s are attempting to achieve. So it doesn't muddy anything.
Correct.
For me.
Yeah.
And I just like that. A little bit more energy in my speaker. Not to take away anything from the R700s. I think they're great speakers. They're an exceptional value.
Oh, yeah.
But if I were spending my money, I would get the SourcePoint 8s in their walnut finish. I don't love the white
Yeah,
finish.
I didn't like it.
And I requested it. That's
Mm-hmm.
on me. Nothing against MoFi for sending them. I appreciate that they did that. Because I wanted to see
Yeah.
something a little bit different since we had already had the wood finish. The wood finish is so good.
Yeah.
It does have a furniture grade feel, at least to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would choose, that's another reason why I would choose that over the POLK.
Mm-hmm.
POLK is, again, good. It's well built. I just think the finish, the POLKs come in, is very representative of its price point.
Yeah.
Everyone sound off down below. Hashtag KRISTI nailed it.
There you go.
All right. We're going to move on to what I would consider a speaker that's in the same vein-ish. Oh, God.
Okay.
I know. Just that I said that, everyone's about to come for me. This
All
will be hashtag KRISTI did not nail it. Bernard Munt says, how do the source points compare to the KLIPSCH RP8000F? I do know that the KLIPSCH are a more budget speaker,
Oh, yeah.
so they are aware of the price difference.
I will say the KLIPSCH are going to be punchier, but not have that solidity of weight throughout. They're gonna sound lighter, hollower compared to the 888s.
I think the 8000F Mark II is a better comparison.
I'm assuming that that's what we're talking about. I know you said 8000F, but at this point, if you're on the market, if you're buying 8000Fs, they're on clearance, they're open box or something, because the 8000F Mark II is the current product. But even though the 8000F Mark II is an improvement over the original 8000F, compared to the SourcePoint, you're going to have a livelier sound top to bottom, and it's going to feel snappier, more contrasty, because it's just not going to feel quite as grounded. And that's going to come down to the cabinet construction. The SourcePoint 888 is a beast. That speaker weighs 198 or 96 pounds by itself, and you can feel it. It is a demonstrably different design, build quality compared to the KLIPSCH. The KLIPSCH 8000F Mark II is probably 40 pounds each speaker. And as a result, that sense of solidity and focus and weight and dampening, it's just not really going to be there. That may result in the KLIPSCH sounding more exciting, more fun, more agile, bouncing from one to the next. And it may even allow it to be more appreciable and intelligible at those lower volumes. Definitely going to be easier to power, drive, get to those theater-like, concert-like volumes with less. But the 888 is the better speaker. Let's not mince words. It is the better speaker.
Okay. And when I was saying they're in the same vein, I meant more like both speakers have a little bit more of that livelier energy.
They can.
I know
Yeah.
the KLIPSCH is on one end of the spectrum, when the MoFi is probably more in like the middle of the road. But
Yeah.
I think that they have similar characteristics.
They could appeal to a similar clientele for sure.
Yeah, just needed to clarify that. Although everyone's already left their comments, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Matthew Horn
Okay.
would like to know, how do the MoFis compare to the Focal ARIA Evo series? And just as a refresher for you, we reviewed the ARIA Evo #2 tower speaker last April.
Oh, the green one.
Yes, the green one.
ones. The 888s are going to sound larger, fuller, just bigger. Definitely have more bass presence. That could be a good or a bad thing. The Focals visually do look a little bit more elegant. There are different finishes. Not that there aren't finishes for the 888s, but this is a very sort of the 888, the SourcePoint line in general. I mean, while it's not a perfect box, if you really look at it, the edges are not, perfectly parallel, and that's by design. But the focals kick it up a notch. You got some leatherette, you've got the automotive paint scheme finishes. It's just some flourishes along the way that visually in a living space may be a difference maker. I don't want to comment really as to what else you might expect. Yeah, the Focal ARIA is a great speaker, same as the 888. It's really going to come down to what you prefer, I think.
Well, do you think one has a different bass performance?
Oh, the 888 is bassier. It's going to, like I said, it's going to sound bigger, fuller. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily more dynamic or contrasty. That may go to the Focal. But if you're in a larger space and you like to feel all of it, or maybe you don't want to have to use a subwoofer, the 888 all day. But if you're like, no, I like a little bit more finesse sometimes, or I already own a great subwoofer, or, I was hoping for something that's not just a big monolithic kind of brutalist looking speaker, then the Focal definitely take a peek at it. But you may also want to take a peek at a Sonus Faber. You may also want to take a peek at a dozen other products too.
And I'll link to the ARIA review somewhere on the video, so that if you want to go check that out, Matthew, you'll be able to. Ian McDonald says, what about the Mission 770?
770, the more expensive one or the cheaper one? That one I can't remember.
Well, there was the 700.
Oh, the 770's the big dog.
They are priced
about the same
at $5,000.
Yeah.
So very competitive.
Ooh, tough one. Take up about the same amount of floor space. So even though the 770 is a stand mount, nears makes no difference. It's going to visually look the same in the room as a 888. May even be a little taller. The 770. Ooh, tough one. Sorry, Andrew. I'm going 770.
Wait, who's Andrew?
Andrew Jones. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, Andrew Jones. I'm going 770. That was a really good underrated speaker. I think the finish is a little nicer. The wood veneer on that Mission line, at least the 770, is even better than the wood veneers that you're going to find on the SourcePoints.
They're so visually different.
I
think they're really going to appeal to two totally different people. But
I don't know if I agree
really
with that
liked,
part. I don't know if I agree that they're going to appeal to different people, because they both kind of have a little bit of old school audiophile nostalgia vibe. The 770 obviously is a recreation of a very iconic speaker. I don't like the stands on the 770. I don't like that look, but I like that speaker. So, oof. I don't know.
Okay. You do you. Cami84 wants to know, which do you prefer and think is the best overall? The MoFi SourcePoint 888 or the Q Acoustic Concept 50? Totally different speakers.
Oh, completely different speaker. Okay, here we go. For me, the Concept 50, which is notably less expensive, by the way, at I think $3,000 a pair, $2,500 a pair, not $5,000.
Oh, they are about. It looks like they're about $3,000 maybe for the pair.
Yeah. The Concept 50 is. I know we don't talk about it enough. It's a goat. It really is. It's a goat. It's phenomenal. Can it play as low and have that little bit of bass pressurization like the 888 can do? Nope. But in every other facet, it's as good, if not better. It doesn't get fatiguing with certain music. It can play loud without distortion or strain. It images almost as good as some Bang& Olufsen speakers. Center focus is phenomenal. Dispersion is amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna kick you like a mule right in the gut, the way the 888s can. But in every other capacity, it's every bit as good, if not better. And if you're someone that values soundstage like I do, and you want that 3-dimensional where you don't even have to close your eyes and sound does not appear to be emanating from the speakers, or, you're not able to sit dead center in the couch. Maybe you're off to the right or the left and the sound doesn't drift. Concept 50s all day. And they're visually, they're so small. They're so small compared to just about anything.
Yeah.
So
I still love the Concept 50s are still one of my favorite speakers.
Yeah, absolute goat.
I wish we had more opportunity to pull them out and use them. Maybe we can put that on our to-do list.
2025.
Yeah, bring them out more often.
Yeah.
Because they are a great speaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, oh my gosh. We are to our last comment.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Oof.
Mikhail Axelson, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hello from Sweden. What would you use if you were to build a complete stereo system with everything except the building of a dedicated music room? The size, wow, this is huge. Approximately 200 meters squared, which is 2,100 square feet, including acoustic corrections, etc. So if you had $100,000 to spend, what would you buy, including speakers, preamp, amplifier, DAC, streamer, etc.? I probably should have prepped you for this one.
This is not a question about the 888s at all.
No, it's not. It's not.
I wouldn't buy the 888s. 2,100 square foot acoustically treated listening room. $100,000 budget. World's your oyster, dude.
Well, you can't buy the Bang & Olufsen 90s.
No, but I could get 50s. I get 50s and not need all of the other stuff. Maybe a streamer, maybe. Oh, boy. I mean, yeah, here's an example of I could spend $50,000, $65,000 on a pair of 50s and pocket 40, 45 grand, take a vacation, invest, put both kids through college. I don't know. Let's go the passive route. Let's not take the easy way out and rely on superior technology. You know what? I'm gonna go down a little bit more of a personal nostalgia train then, because if that sounds like we're building like my last one and done dream system, and we're not going to take the easy way out with Bang & Olufsen, I would probably do something along the lines of Wilson Watt Puppies, because I've always really liked them. Wilson Sophias. Something along those lines. So you're looking at 25 to 40 grand for speakers. Electronics, I know that they're struggling right now, but they are coming back. But I do have an affinity for Krell amplification. I would even go so far as to say that I would look into getting my hands on a very, very well-maintained Krell Evo 302E. There's a bunch out there. I loved that amp. That's one of my amps that I had as a reference for many, many years back in the day. And it's arguably one of the best amps I've ever heard to this day. And that'll drive the piss out of anything. Preamp wise, let's just stick with the oldie but a goodie. Get your hands on a Hovland HP 100. Good luck. They're going to be in short supply. Fantastic preamp. If you can't find a Hovland, Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble for this one, but I had a Mark Levinson 326S at one point, and I thought that little preamp was the business. It doesn't match the Krell visually, so that would be a problem for me in my OCD, but the two did sound really good together. Source component, pick and choose. I mean, streamers, I hate to say it, Eversolo A8 and Apple TV, you know me, I don't care about streamers. Turntable. Ooh. I don't know how much money we have left over because some of this stuff is old, vintage, used, whatever word you want to use. So maybe we're not even close to 100 grand. Turntable. Boy. Lin LP12. Let's just go with the classic, I know there's other ones, there's Goldmans and all that stuff, but you can't beat a good Lin LP12, It just ain't broke, don't fix it. What else do I need, really? What else do I need? A CD player? I don't know. Take your pick. I don't care.
DACs?
Take your DAC. Ooh, we need a DAC. Well, if we have the A8 as our streamer, it's a fantastic DAC in and of itself. So you could be done there. You know what? The last standalone DAC that I had that I cared about, that I went after myself, did my research, A-B'd a bunch of stuff, and I genuinely liked it, was a Musical Fidelity. Is it a New Vista? Tri-Vista. I doubt it holds up today. I do. I doubt it holds up today. It probably taps out at 192. But boy, that thing sounded good. It did sound good. DAC. I'm just going to stick with what's in the Eversolo. Eversolo A8. It's my streamer. It's my DAC. It's my HDMI interface. Give me a Lin LP12. If I can't, or if I don't want the Mark Levinson 326S preamp, I'm just going to use the Eversolo volume, or I'll get myself a mini DSP SHD and use that as my preamp. That's going to give me access to Dirac and full room EQ, PEQ. I know your room's got acoustic treatments, but we can dial it in just that much better. And then Krell Evolution speaker, Wilson. Yeah. But in reality, if I was walking into a space like that, then probably going to do a pair of like Biolab 50s and put 40 grand in my pocket.
Or spend it on furniture.
Or spend it on furniture or other upgrades somewhere else in the house that other people might also enjoy.
Yeah, because you can do so much with a lot less money.
Yeah.
But if you're spending that kind of money, I would look at something, like you said, I would look at the Bang & Olufsen 50s or something from Wilson. Like, I've really enjoyed our experience with their speakers. What is it called? Which one did I like? The Sophia?
The Sasha? No, not the Sasha WP. I don't remember which one you really liked.
I think it was the Sophia because it was more.
Yeah, maybe.
It was
a smaller one.
It was a smaller one.
Yeah.
Or I would maybe look to something like a Sonos Faber, like one of their higher end speakers.
Yeah.
And get some audiophile jewelry if I was going the passive route for an amp. Like I still think the Technics R1000 to me it's
really good.
A phenomenal amplifier. And the phono preamp inside it is good.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know it converts to digital. So what? This is my dream. Or I would go after something that I've never heard before, like some of those speakers we see in not magazines, but like on Instagram or Pinterest, where they have like the separate horn, round horn sitting on top.
Like Avant-Garde. That's the brand. Avant-Garde makes those types of speakers. I still have not reviewed or demoed any of their products in-house, but boy, when I've been at shows and they've been there, those are fun rooms. That would be a fun review to do.
Haven't you reached out to them?
I have.
I know we've had a couple of questions about Avant-Garde speaker reviews, and just so you know.
Yeah, I try.
Andrew's tried.
I tried.
But yeah, beyond that, I would spend it on being comfortable
Yeah.
or feeling just good in my space, because this idea of just having an empty, bare room with one chair
Yeah.
is weird to me.
A little bit.
And I would also have a TV in there. I know, Mikkel, you said it would just be for music, and I don't roll that way. So I would have a big ass TV in there.
You could put a video, if you went 50s, you'd have 40 grand left over. You put a video wall in.
So that's probably what I would do.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap about all the other stuff, the DACs, and I would have a turntable.
Sure.
I'd have a turntable.
You probably end up with our Alva TT V2,
Yeah, I love
though.
the Alva TT.
Yeah.
It's still freaking great.
Yeah.
And I can stream from it. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Or I would get something a little more classic,
Mm-hmm.
like something from Technics.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I could find an old school Bang & Olufsen turntable that would make you, nostalgic, I would get that.
Yeah. One of their linear trackers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Great question to end on.
Yeah. I thought it would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anything else?
That's it. We're done.
That's the show, guys.
That's the show.
All right. Well, Unplugged episode
35.
35.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've done 35 of these.
Wow. Well, guys, can't say enough. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in Sunday. Taking a break from speakers, we're shifting gears to amplifiers for Sunday. I think a lot of you are going to like that one. Until then, I guess enjoy the rest of your Friday, and anything you want to tell them?
Not really.
All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Sunday.